my takeaways of the last year, how I did on all of my goals. And instead of just saying, here's the goal, here's why I didn't hit it, blah, 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 I wanted to hopefully provide some more context and maybe more value and share my takeaways from the last year. The first and the most important one for me was the realization that social media isn't everything, it's not that important, and it would be good to try not to freak out over things that you don't have control over. The thing that made me realize this was being banned from YouTube. When I woke up, I saw an email saying, hey, we banned your account for whatever reason, and then I tried to log in. I couldn't log into my main account with the podcasted YouTube channel. I could have ripped my hair out, started crying and screaming and losing my mind. I just shrugged and said, okay, I guess this is reality now. And if that's the way that things ended up falling, if I did lose access to that account, so what? It's a YouTube account. It's not that important in the grand scheme of things. It's just a website. There will be different websites in the future. Life is much more than a social media platform or a following. So I came to that realization very quickly. I also realized I don't have much control over the situation. I will approach the situation calmly and try to handle it with as much grace as possible. And I just said, okay, I'll try to appeal it. That didn't work. Okay, I'll go to Twitter, see if I can find a way around it there. Okay. No reason to freak out and be a dick to everybody around you because the person that you speak to at customer service or something, chances are they're not responsible for it. It's some stupid algorithm that gets all cattywampus and gets a little overzealous. And that was a realization for me. Okay, if I were to get banned from every social media platform tomorrow, would it be a little bit of a bummer? Sure, because I've put in years and tens of thousands of dollars into building them up with all the gear I've bought to make videos, but so what? If it happens, it happens. And that was a great realization to have. Social media doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things and only really care about the stuff that you have control over. There's no reason to get furious and freak out and stressed out over something you don't have control over. Easier said than done, but that was a really important realization for me. The second takeaway was it's okay to not publish something if it is not done. There were a couple of times over the last year where I said, hey, I'm not quite done with this video. I'm probably going to miss the review this week. And for years, I had said, no, I have to get a video out now. I have to get it out. I need to hit this arbitrary schedule that I have set for myself. I need to do it. And this year I said, the video's not done. I'm not going to publish it. And the thought process there was, okay, well, people might be disappointed on Tuesday morning when there's not a video, but in a couple of days, they'll forget about it. But what will people not forget about? If you publish a video that sucks, that's going to be up forever, they'll remember that. They'll say, remember, I just had to edit because I guess I developed a stutter there. That was insane. Remember when Podcastage put out that review that was terrible and poorly done? I do. So instead of putting out that garbage, I'll just hold off on publishing that video until the video is ready. Now, I don't want you to misinterpret that as being an absolute perfectionist and never releasing anything because it will never be perfect. Don't go down that road. That is a deep, dark path, and you will never publish anything ever. You need to still be okay with good enough, but if a video is going to be completely half-assed, last week's video excluded from this, which was completely phoned in, but if it's going to be half-assed and live on your channel on the internet forever and be a poor representation of you and what you do, just hold off. People will be okay with it. That was a big realization for me. The next one, this is something that I'm still struggling with. The idea of pushing mass consumerism, because a lot of tech channels and audio channels, it can be perceived as though the reason we do it is to push people to buy stuff that they don't need. And that is something that I sat down and I've thought through many times over the last year, because that's not something that I want to do, because I think that is contributing to the abuse of people, because a lot of stuff is manufactured in factories that have poor working conditions. They are not paid good wages. They are treated incredibly poorly. And I struggled with that idea and the idea of, oh, I'm making a video reviewing this. That might make people want to go out and buy it. And that's a bad thing. But then I had to come to the realization that reviewing stuff and putting out information is not directing people to go buy something. And it is an incredibly dangerous road to go down, to take responsibility for every individual's response to something that you put out there. What I mean by that is you don't have control of how people will use the information that you publish, and I don't think you should be held responsible for people misusing the information that you put out there for their own justification. For example, I view my channel as more of a resource channel, not something where people will watch every single video and say, okay, I'm going to buy every microphone that he says he likes. I view it as an archive, a catalog of videos that people will say, okay, I'm looking for a ribbon microphone. Here's a list of all the ribbon microphones that people say are great. Let's look up reviews of them on the internet so I can hear them. And then they'll stumble across my videos. That's how I view it. If someone wants to use them for a different purpose, I have no control over that, and I don't think that as a creator we ought to be responsible for people misusing the content that we put out to justify whatever behavior. And that's something that I really struggle with a lot, because I do know that tech videos can be viewed and can very easily be used to justify overconsumption. Just, I need the new phone, I need the new phone, I need the new phone, I need the most up-to-date computer, because I fell into that trap 5 or 6 years ago where I was just thinking, I need the new Mac computer, I need the new phone every single year. And then I came to the realization, no, I don't. I'm still using a 4 or 5-year-old phone. It's working great. No need to upgrade. So if somebody does want to misuse that information, that's really not our fault, unless we are actively trying to push that idea of overconsumption. And I still struggle with that quite a bit. I'll never completely overcome that. That was a diatribe. And the last thing here, this is going to sound very contrary to what I just said. It's okay to distract yourself and escape. What I mean there is, first off, it's okay to escape into a movie, into a book, into music. It's okay to shut off your phone, unplug from the internet. You don't need to be informed of everything all the time forever. We're just individuals. We don't need to know everything about everything. That is a ridiculous expectation, and it is very damaging and can have a very negative impact on our mental health. And this last year, I have not shut up about it. I escaped using Harry Potter, watching movies, playing Minecraft. I found every single escape that I could. And something else that I realized, and this is what I said goes counter to what I was saying, I have found that on occasion buying something does help me escape a little bit. Now, I am assuming when I say that when you're buying something, it's not going to cause any negative externalities. It's not going to make it difficult to pay bills. It's not going to put you into debt. If maybe you get joy out of watches like me, I think it's okay to buy a watch if it brings you joy and helps you escape the existential dread that we have been forced into and been living in and bathing in for the last 2 years straight. I think that's okay. If you want a guitar and that guitar brings you joy and helps you escape while you pick it up every day and you just learn how to play a new song and that just brings you the most joy, go forward and kick butt. I think that is more than an okay justification to be a little bit frivolous with your expenditures, with what you're spending your money on. I think that's okay, especially over the last 2 years where it has been I don't know if everybody feels as isolated as me because I've been locked inside for Tuesday's going to legitimately be 666 days, where the only time I leave is to go to the grocery store or to go for a walk outside by myself with a big old knife, so don't come up to me. Threatening people on the podcast. That's a good way to go forward, Bandrew. 2022. That's my new goal. Threaten people with violence on the podcast. I got a big old knife. Don't approach me. And I think that's okay. That's something that I had to come to terms with because I struggle with the idea of mass consumption or overconsumption. And then I find myself wanting to buy some luxury items and then realizing, I feel bad about this, but then realizing, well, I get joy out of it, so that should be fine. I'm not causing any harm to anybody. I'm not putting myself in a financial situation that is dangerous or damaging. I'm still saving for my future, still paying all of my bills, paying my health insurance. Why would it be wrong to enjoy my hard work? And I think everybody right now could benefit from just taking a step back and saying, okay, I need an escape. I'm going to go buy that nice leather-bound Hobbit book because why not? I love The Hobbit and it's a world I want to live in. I think that's perfectly fun. Okay, I know contrary ideas, just hypocritical right in my takeaways. That was a lot longer than I was expecting.